last few days?
Not really, no. I think we've had to manage. Obviously, we didn't probably anticipate that so many players would play 90 minutes last Saturday in pre-season. So because they're in their match day +2 and we had them on Monday, and because the match is on Thursday, we've had to modify our training loads. So we've had to sort of plan that carefully. There's no point in trying to come in and do too much too soon with everyone. I think we've got to make sure players stay fit and can peak on Thursday in the best possible conditions. So, well, we've done some work. Ideally, we would have wanted to do more, but you can't force that between the 2 days training, Monday and Tuesday. So that's where we are.
In as far as you can over a short few days, do you feel that the group has bonded already?
Well, to be fair, I think the majority of the group, a lot of the squad, obviously there is a lot of changes, and radical change from the last squad, but the majority of players that are in the squad, they seem like great people. So I wouldn't take any great credit for bonding or for bonding with the group. I think there's a lot of really good people in the squad, a lot of humility, and I think that's very evident. And I think that's very evident. All of the staff have commented that. All of the members of the staff have commented on that, and the players. There's great humility in the group. This group of players.
You must have felt, I'm sure, there's a huge goodwill towards you and the squad, but that's created a sort of an air of expectation as well, hasn't it? That people are hoping, but maybe even expecting that you're going to start well.
Well, I think you don't mind that. That's okay. Come to it that I think Bulgaria have had since the new coaches came in. They've had 2 very good results. Different. They were quite open in that campaign, conceded goals, trying to, quite expansive, but left themselves open. In the last 2 games, they beat the Czech Republic in the Euro qualifier. Czech Republic have qualified for the Euro, so that was a really impressive win, 1-0. And they played Paraguay and lost 1-0. So those 2 games were 2 good performances, and they only conceded 1 goal in the 2 games. So, and Paraguay are a good team, and I think. So it was interesting for me to see that, and they're very well drilled, very compact as a team, and they've got speed in their attack. So we'll have to earn anything we get in Sofia for sure.
Now, a number of your players, Shane Duffy, the latest one to be involved in moves, right as you gather. He's gone to Celtic. You had Matt Doherty, of course, and before that, Jeff Hendrick. Has that been a bit of a distraction? Has it been a talking point among the group?
No, not really. No, well, I think that's been going on for a couple of weeks with Shane. There's been a lot of interest in Shane, and rightly so. Such a commanding presence as a centre back, and he's such, such stature in both boxes. So I think there's been a lot of interest. So that his decision has been to go to Celtic, I think. So we certainly wish him well with that.
Okay, thanks very much, Stephen.
Thanks, Carl. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Paul. How you doing?
Good, thanks. Obviously, you want to win tomorrow, but what is the priority for you? Is it winning full stop, or do you want to win with a bit of style? Does the manner of the win matter to you?
It's only the first game, I think we've only been in for 2 days, training. So I think for us, we're looking at, it's on many levels really. I think the first thing is that the Nations League potentially gives you a World Cup playoff, potentially gives you a chance to be promoted to Group A. So with that in mind, you've got to win the group, which is big, not easy, so first and foremost, we'd like to try and win the game if we could. I think on that level, that's important for us. And there's also the bigger picture of the Slovakia game in October, and with a view to that as well. So I could say to you, well, each game is in isolation and you just focus on that game and we look at that when it comes, but there is an element of truth in that, but also you have to see the wider we are building towards that as well. And so on both fronts, you want to win the game, because every international game is of significance, especially competitive game is very important. And I think to have a good start in the Nations League group, you would feel would help the confidence, of course. But Bulgaria, I'm sure, feel the same. They've had a very good win. The last competitive game, they beat the Czech Republic at home 1-0. So I'm sure they feel likewise. They feel that they'd like to start with a win at home. So we'll have to work really hard to earn the victory.
Have you told the squad yet the starting 11, Stephen, or how do you approach this in the lead up to a match?
No, I haven't, and we'll do that in due course. But no, we've been working over the 2 days on how we'll play, but no, I have not picked a team yet. Okay,
so you can't tell us if Seamus Coleman and Matt Doherty will start tonight or tomorrow night, can you?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Hi, Stephen. Just on that, I don't know, is there any injury update, or if everybody who travelled is fully fit and available for selection?
Yes, everyone who travelled that's right, Nathan. They're fully fit and available for selection. That's right.
Listening to Jeff Hendrick earlier and Robbie Brady over the last couple of days, they've said that you've been quite clear with them about what's expected, and there's been a lot of information about different roles within the team. It has only been a couple of training sessions. Do you get the sense, though, from your team meetings that the message of a different, maybe more, what we might call a more progressive style of football has got across to the players, that they will go onto the pitch tomorrow fully aware of what you expect from them? Or is it too soon?
Yeah, I think, listen, they're all good players who are playing at a high level, and they're used to changing and managers and coaches at the different clubs. I think they're used to sort of having changes within their club environment. This is an international environment; it's different, but they're all adaptable. So tactically, they're adaptable. They're intelligent people, and they can take stuff on board. Radically, you're not going to radically change everything in 2 days. I think that's not realistic. But we want to play with confidence. That's important. We want to play with confidence, and we want to have the balance of the team right, so that we can be creative and create chances. I think the balance of the team is important, and we want to have speed in our attack as well. Very important that we have speed in our attack, that we're a real threat when we need to be.
Ordinarily, if you were going to somewhere like Bulgaria, we talk about, the heat of the battle and the packed stadium. It's not going to be like that, but you talk about wanting experienced players for those sort of situations. And we've spoken a lot about the likes of Jason Malumbi and Adam Ida coming through. But somebody like James McLean or Shane Long, who's been around the block and probably having to listen to these conversations, how have you found working with them, and what sort of role do you think they can have over the coming couple of years?
Well, I think international football is changing, and I think we all have to adapt, and the players have to adapt, because never before has there been 3 matches in a window, and that will become the norm in the future, possibly. Because looking at the next 2 windows in October, November, speculation about that in March as well. So if that is becoming more frequent, not everyone can play all of the games, and I think that's when you definitely need your squad. And that's one of the things that I would say is that when we did play some 11v11 in training, you can see that there's not really a disparity in quality overall. That we have 2 very competitive 11s, and that's going to be important over the next year. Because our intention is that we play a lot of games, but in order for us to do that, and when I say it, in amount of games, I mean a record amount of games in historically. But in order for us to do that, we have to be successful. So we'll have to obviously do well over the next few weeks and months, and that's what we're trying to do.
Sorry, just one final one then. Could you see yourself, regardless of the result tomorrow night, picking a very different team then on Sunday compared to Thursday because of the amount of games the players have to play and wanting a fresh team out there?
Not necessarily. I don't really. I think you need to have some kind of, you need to have, if the team's to evolve as well, you need some kind of consistency of selection. Whether you can achieve that, depends. Players are early in the season for them, and we'll have to judge that really after Thursday in how they are physically. So that's an interesting question because they're so early and they actually haven't played their first league game yet, and that's unprecedented. That is an interesting question. So we'll have to really review that based on the evidence we see and how their bodies react, and then make decisions based on that.
Thanks, Stephen.
Yes,
thank you. There's 2 more questions in this section. The first one's from David Spell.
Hi, Stephen. Given the circumstances, would you consider this to be the biggest game of your career? And either way, do you have to approach it just like you've approached every other game in your career?
If I took time and probably reflected on that and thought about it in that way, there is no doubt that it is. But I haven't had that period of introspection. I think I've just sort of very focused on the game itself, and I think that's the way I view it. I think the game, look, we're just preparing the team the best way we can. All of the coaches, staff, and have been fantastic. Keith Andrews and Damien Duff, Alan Kelly, really terrific. And I think so we're just focusing really on the game itself, how we're going to play. Obviously, the challenge of playing in an empty stadium. Some of the players have got a little bit used to that. We know it's not the same. That the connection between supporters and players, brings the energy that brings. I think, but I'm not looking at it from my own point of view. I'm looking at it. I don't have time for that. I think we've just got to get ready to try and prepare the team and try and perform well.
Thank you.
The last question in this section is from Gavin, please.